Verbally Effective, episode 43, your double E to S go. I'm so excited about today because I have a true legend in the building with me today. I mean, I can go back over 20 years to where I first laid eyes on this legend. I'm talking about the Teflon Don, aka America's premier steel spinner, Mr. Howard Kew.
Hey, Ina.
Hey, Howard, how are you?
I'm doing great, especially now that I'm seeing your smile. What it do?
What's up? You know, I saw you a few months back at the Kickback, and we were talking about getting you on the podcast.
Right.
And, you know, with you coming on the podcast comes a lot.
Meaning?
You have so much history.
I mean, a lot like what?
History.
You
know why I say that?
Why?
It's so many people in the game, in the entertainment game alone. And I'm just talking about the Mid-South. I'm sure in other areas as well that you have helped get in the business. Am I right?
Yeah, I'm passionate about that. There's a reason, though.
There's a reason.
And
I'm sure you're going to explain those reasons on the pod today. But
hey, I got you.
But before we get started on just jumping full-fledged into entertainment, I like to talk about where my guests are, you know, what hood you're from. What neighborhood are you from in the Mid-South area?
I'm kind of like a gypsy.
A gypsy?
Kind of,
really?
yeah. Been all over the place.
Okay.
I grew up in Memphis, and I grew up wherever my father was stationed in the military.
Oh, you're an Army brat.
Right. So my mother's home was here in Westwood, Chickasaw. I was on the Chickasaw side of the street.
Okay.
So I went to Hyde Park, Whitehaven Elementary, Chickasaw Junior High School, and Hillcrest High School.
Wow. And so your dad, did you move around a lot with him?
A little bit. Part of the agreement that my parents had was when I wasn't in school, I'd be with him.
Okay.
So wherever he was, they'll wrap me up in some camouflage stuff and stick me in the back of a damn B-52, and I just show up somewhere on the planet where he was stationed.
Okay. And where did you graduate? Westwood?
No, Hillcrest.
Okay, so let me ask you this. You know, everybody knows you and relates you to music. Were you musically inclined in high school?
I've been musically inclined all of my life.
Okay. What were you doing in high school specifically?
Playing drums and xylophone.
Really? In the band? In the band,
and I was one of the majorette drummers.
What?
Yeah, I played for the majorettes, yeah.
Is that where it all
Citywide
began?
champs a couple of times. Woo!
Woo, woo!
Yeah.
Is that where it all began, or where did your love for music start?
Listening to my father play in a band where he was a trumpet player.
Wow. Really?
Are you familiar with Mo Better Blues?
Yes.
Blease?
Yeah.
That was kind of like my father.
Wow. So you were listening to him ever since you were a tot.
Yeah, he was the second trumpet on Chuck Mangione recording Graze in the Grass.
Wow.
So I grew up in the studio around music, all of that. All of my uncles and aunts played, and it was a requirement in the family that you play an instrument. So I started out playing the violin. I went to the viola. Then in middle school, junior high, they didn't have that program, and somebody put a drum mallet in my hand, and my IQ dropped to about 0. And I played drums all the way through college.
Wow. So you went to TSU.
Right.
And so you
Big Blue in the building.
I know you have a lot of good stories to tell about TSU.
Hey, man, it was real school days, man.
We talking like the 80s, right?
Right.
So what was it like in the 80s at TSU?
Let me say it like this. This was before HIV.
Oh,
so you go figure.
Wow.
I mean, you go figure.
Y'all were doing y'all thing.
Everybody doing their thing. The thing was being done.
Oh, my God. Okay, so you played the drums in the band at TSU. You pledged Kappa Alpha Psi.
Right.
What year was that?
1990.
How many line brothers you got?
Me, officially, 7.
And what's your line?
Nashville alumni. My line name?
Mm-hmm.
Take a guess.
Mr. Nasty Man.
Nope. My line name was Limited Funds.
Limited Funds?
Right.
Really?
Right. I DJ'd my way in the frat.
Did you?
Limited Funds. I was broke. I was the only guy that showed up out of 500 guys at the Smoker that had on a coordinated blazer and slacks. Everybody else had suits.
Oh,
And the pole mark asked me, "What the hell are you doing here dressed like this?" I said, "This is all I got."
They said that boy got hot.
Yeah. I know what I want.
You know what you want.
And I'm going to get it.
I know that's right, Howard. Okay, so at TSU.
Okay, TSU. All right.
Now, you know, I've been doing my research on you, and I know that you were working with some DJs, helping them out from Detroit and Chicago with their records and things of that nature. How did that all come about? Like you and your relationship with DJs at a college level.
Okay, we had to go back. During that time, the DJs were like celebrities, right?
Right.
I didn't know how to dance, but I wanted to be cool, right? So I worked on electronic equipment in the engineering lab at TSU, so I used to repair their cassette decks and mixers for class projects. Then after a while, everybody started bringing me their stuff. Then that graduated to me going to the parties, setting up the sound equipment. Then I started carrying the records, and then the DJs would get so inebriated during the course of the party, they would have me there, you know, to kind of play a little music or play slow songs and that sort of thing. And it just kind of grew from there. Then I met Lamar Taylor, DJ Too Smooth. That was in 87, 86, 87, somewhere along in there. And he was very introverted. He didn't like to talk, but he was hell on some turntables. I said, "I'll tell you what, I'll advocate for you. I'll set up all your gigs, and all you got to do is come up, play the music, and leave, and you can get your money from me." And thusly, the beginning of Voice Entertainment. I became the voice for the DJs.
So, I mean, you were just a natural on the mic.
I wouldn't say that. I heard RJ Groove at
RJ Groove.
doing 2 for Tuesdays at Alfred's one night, doing his thing where "Do the ladies run this?" Okay. And I was listening to it, and I'm thinking to myself, damn, if I can do that, we'll be off the chain. Well, the Greeks were already chanting. All the Greeks would chant on the microphone, but RJ Groove had a different spin on it because he wasn't talking about anything collegiate or Greek. It was just stuff to hype the crowd up.
Right.
And I went back for about 6 Tuesdays straight until I recorded his entire show, and then I came back and practiced it, and then I started being on the microphone.
Wow. And were you talking nasty back then?
No, I wasn't talking nasty back then.
Not yet.
No, I wasn't. Hey, I can tell you how that started. If you want to know. If you really want to know, I'll tell you how that started.
Look, let me tell you.
I mean, I'll tell you. I'm not afraid now.
Okay, wait a minute. Before we jump into that, because we getting the D&D at that point.
No, we're not. That didn't start at Denim Diamonds.
Where did it start?
That started at the Aqua Lounge.
The Aqua Lounge.
Right.
The Aqua Lounge.
The Aqua Lounge was on Winchester and Mendenhall, next to the building that people came to know as, it used to be the No Name, but it was Cactus Jacks at one time.
Okay,
and it was also Envy, right?
Right.
So they had a club there that was called the Aqua Lounge, and that was right after I walked off my engineering job, started the Sunday night, and it was a girl that I was, kind of hanging out with a little bit, and she bet me that she couldn't spend the night without me trying to sleep with her, so I didn't. So to embarrass me for doing that, Hypo gave her the microphone, and she goes, "Guess what, y'all?" on the microphone from the club, about 800 people. "Howard has a little dick."
No!
And I was like, I grabbed the microphone. I said, "Okay, I might have a little dick, but I got a 9-inch tongue." And everybody went wild. And I was like, ding, ding, ding.
Right.
We're going to roll with it. Because at the time, because everybody was talking about how they exploited women, how they were, beating them up, pimping them and all this kind of stuff. So I decided to take an angle of being freaky, and it worked for me.
It did, because I remember as a senior in high school, me and my friends going to Denim Diamonds, like, let's just say for the first time, and hearing you on the microphone talking freaky. We thought we were grown at that point. Like, yeah, we really somewhere now. But you got all the ladies hyped up. Like, we thought we was doing something.
The whole thing was, at that time, people were so confrontational. I wanted to do something that would bring people together. And I know sex is one thing that definitely is a unifier. So if you can get people out of the mindset of trying to exploit people or be confrontational, that sort of thing, in more of a sexual manner, then you have a better party. And that's what's kind of missing, today, the romanticism. Because that was a part of everything that we did.
Definitely. Now, how did the guys respond to you with, you bringing sex in the forefront of...
I brought their asses out of the closet because all of them was sucking ass. They just didn't want to admit it. I made it cool.
You made it cool.
I made it cool. I said, man, how the hell you gonna have a woman you tell her you love her, you don't want to eat her pussy? What's up with that?
Right.
So yeah, I mean, pleasure her.
Yeah.
Pleasure that woman.
You did.
Make her pee in the bed. Turn the mattress over.
Oh my God! Look, he had all the fellas blushing at Denim Diamonds.
But guess what? Before it was all over with, I had half the city eating pussy.
You about did.
I mean, there you go. There's nothing wrong with that.
Now wait a minute. Let's back up a little bit. You said
you're doing a lot of backing up. You can back that ass up.
Howard, don't start with me.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
All right.
You said I walked off of my engineering job.
Right.
So you went to TSU with on a computer science degree.
Right.
You got a computer science degree. You got a big engineering job.
International paper.
You just said forget it. An international paper.
Mm-hmm.
So was it because of the flow of income?
No.
What was it? Your
I'll say it like this. My manager, back and forth, found out that I was DJing. Said I had a hobby. And one day he said if we had wanted a DJ, we would have hired Donnie Simpson. And I'm a little bit confrontational and passionate when it comes to that. And that was very inappropriate for corporate America. And on January the 3rd or 4th, 1994, came back for the new year. He leaned back and said, Happy New Year. And it would take Victor Miller to tell you what happened after that. I don't remember. But at the end of it, he was barricaded in his office, and I had security guards standing on me. It was over with.
Oh my!
But I don't know what happened. I really blacked out.
You blacked out?
Yeah,
what does everyone say happened?
I tried to. Well, I was trying to get at him.
Oh my! I mean, do you think that he was jealous or? You know?
I really don't know what it was. I just know that I had started making so much money from parties. I really didn't care.
Was it hard to balance a corporate lifestyle and an underground, DJ lifestyle?
Not really. It wasn't that bad. You just do your job.
Right, because you get money on both ends at that point.
But the corporate thing I found out really wasn't for me because I don't think corporate. I was a little bit ahead of my time. The stuff that I was doing then in my corporate acumen, if you will, is more appropriate for now. I didn't believe in a 40-hour work week. I didn't believe in attendance. I was all about performance. So if I had a job to do, if it took me 48 hours staying at the office to get it done because I was programming, that's what I would do. Okay? If I had to come in on a Sunday night because I had a solution, you might find me at my desk Monday morning wearing robe, flip-flops, and a hat to the back, but I found the problem. And at that time, that type of work ethic was not embraced. And it hadn't been until the millennials came out that corporate America has gone more toward, performance-based as opposed to attendance-based.
So you've always been a perfectionist.
Right.
Always. Okay, so you let your corporate job go. You did your collegiate connection thing. How did all of that come about?
The collegiate connection? The collegiate connection was started when Devin was at UT Martin. He was doing parties, and I'd see him out at the clubs when I was passing out mixtapes. He was a really good DJ. He had this scratch that he did on the snare, and it brought the music in, at a really, really impactful place. I'll say it that way. And I was talking to my guy, so I said, man, we need to get him, and rock with us. And Devin was doing all the parties at TSU, so we came together and we had the TSU UT Martin connection. And we did this real big party of headliners. We did one at Studio G. It went really well. And rather than come up with the TSU UT Martin connection, the J-State UT Martin connection, I said, man, we're going to make this generic and just call it the collegiate connection, and thus, branding it so that way it would encompass any colleges anywhere. Right. And that's what started our movement.
Wow. Collegiate. How long did Collegiate Connection last?
It went from 1993 all the way to 2002, somewhere in there.
That's a long time.
The Diamond closed May 2003, so it was somewhere around there. They stopped letting us do cook parties.
Okay, so the Collegiate Connection was incorporated with Denim Diamonds.
Right.
With my introduction to Howard.
I mean, see, the Collegiate Connection was actually the brand that started the Sunday night, the Denim Diamonds.
Those were the days. Like, I know you do your Denim Diamond reunions now. Like, we had so much fun. Like, I don't think I've been to a party, like, in my older years now where it was just flat out fun. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Whose fault do you think that is?
Is it my fault?
Is it?
I don't think so. Is somebody providing that type of entertainment these days?
Possibly.
Possibly.
Right. Everybody's attitude was different when we went to parties back then. You went to the party to have fun, to meet people, that sort of thing. So when the malls closed, all right, and people start engaging with each other on social media, that took away the need to go to those big parties and stuff like that. So now you have to have another reason to go.
Yeah. Social media changed so much.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. And don't you notice, I know you still get out and about. When you get out, people on their phone with their heads down, not even engaged in the party. You notice some of that?
I noticed a lot of that.
Yeah.
Again, whose fault is that?
The people throwing the party to keep them
Is
engaged.
Is it?
Should we collect their phones at the door? Like, what do you do?
I mean, okay, let's equate this to something that everybody's familiar with. If a girl is in the bed with you and you're stimulating her and she doesn't seem to be responding, whose fault is it?
The person trying to stimulate her.
Is it the person trying to stimulate her, or is it the girl's frame of mind that doesn't want to be stimulated? So which one is it?
It could be either or.
It could be either or, right? So the point I'm making is, when it comes to that kind of stuff, it's up to the DJs, you know, and as well as the people throwing the party to put the right match together. You have to have the right DJ for the people you're promoting to. But nowadays, promoters try to hire DJs that have a following. Okay, see what I mean? It's a little bit different. So there's not a match going on. It's like, okay, so-and-so had so many followers, I'm gonna hire him. But that person may be inappropriate for your crowd.
Right.
So you got to have a good match. Size does matter.
Yes, it does, Howard. Now tell me about only K97. You was at K97, Hot 107, and what other station?
It was K97, V101. What was that? Power 98, 103.5. And I did say Hot 107. Yeah, I was at all of them. Basically, when Nate Bell came into the market, he made the live broadcast a commodity. Okay, so all of these nightclubs then wanted a live broadcast, and most of the live nights that were being promoted were nights either that I promoted or I was DJing. So the radio stations had to find a way to get a part of that market share, especially coming out of Denim Diamonds.
Right.
So the only way to do it was to go live on the air. And since I owned everything, no, you cannot go live with your jock. If I'm not on the air, it's not going to happen.
Hey, you had it on lock like that.
So I didn't need radio. My popularity was built outside of radio. So by the time that culture came to be, I was already established. So I didn't need them. And they needed us. And they needed our venues. So I leveraged that to be able to get on the air.
Dang, so like, were you on like a Friday night from 10 to 12 on K? Then, you know,
I was on Thursday nights. I think, if I remember correctly, it was Thursday nights on Power, Friday nights on K97, Old School Drive on V101, and Sunday nights on K97. And in between there, I had stints where I was doing 103.5 and stuff like that. Right.
Do you listen to radio these days? Do you
No.
still listen to radio?
No,
What do you
I don't.
listen to, Howard?
I listen to YouTube, SoundCloud.
Are you looking for new music, or, you know, a specific genre, or, you know,
No.
how do you make your music selection?
I just listen to what people are playing and what they have in their headphones at the gym and stuff like that. I get stimulated from all over the place. I'm a music guy, so I just like music. So if I hear something interesting that catches my ear, then I go investigate it. And if it's something that I think I might like, I just go try to find as much of it as I can and make a mixtape.
and make a mix. So you still making mixtapes?
Of course. They're digital, but yeah.
They're digital now. What do you think about the technology, how it has totally evolutionized? Like, you know.
What do you mean?
I mean,
I'm a computer guy, so what are you saying?
Have you always been on the forefront of the changes?
I was the
like,
first.
Did you see all this coming?
I was the first person in Memphis at a nightclub to use a computer in place of records.
Really?
At Denim Diamonds in 1999, Final Scratch 1.1. I was the first one to transition my record collection to digital.
Was it a hard transition for you to do, being used to, turntables?
Well, the vinyl is still there. It was just getting the music formatted properly, which took about 8 months, 6 hours a day, 6 days a week, to transition all the vinyl and all the different versions, to get them on a hard drive and get them formatted. But it was worth it in the long run, because I had almost given up on DJing. I dropped my records once. They got disorganized. I said, I'm done. And then Cuts came from, right, so Cuts came from, he was from Germany, and said, man, you can DJ with these turntables and, your music on a computer. I'm like, that's a bunch of bullshit. That's impossible. So he showed it to me, and I was like, wow, that's dope. So we invested the money, learned the technology, and then, the rest is kind of history.
Wow. I mean, so if you were to get booked for a party, you're definitely doing straight computer. I mean, everything DJs.
All the music is on the computer. Don't get it twisted.
Okay.
I still got your technique. Well, they're Stantons, but I have my decks. Mm-hmm. I have my decks, but that's a different price point. You got to be flexible. So if you want the turntable show, I have that. You come down a little bit, I'll bring you the CD players, and if you're on a budget, I'll bring the controller. It doesn't matter to me.
Now, who are some of your favorite DJs?
My favorite DJs?
Like new DJs.
Oh my goodness, I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. So because you have to define what a DJ is.
Mixer, the
person that plays the music.
That plays the music at the party.
Let me tell you something. my favorite guy right now. I have two.
I know you got one.
I mean, locally, I have two. When it comes to the scratching and the manipulation of the records at a party, it's my guy DJ Houston. When he gets in his zone, he's cold. His little brother's hard too, but. My favorite dude when it comes to just playing music for a crowd is Lighter 5.0. And that's when he's really gone and he didn't hit that green. Lighter! Man. And he gets shaking his head like it's right here.
Lighter
it's over with.
He's been around music a long time.
That's my guy.
Wow. So like when you go to a party and you're listening to the music, I know you probably just have a different ear for things that others don't, just with your musical background.
What do you mean?
As far as, okay, well, let me ask you a question. So when you go to a party as a DJ, are you like saying to yourself, oh, he ain't shit, or are you analyzing?
That just comes with the territory. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm listening for his transitions, but now they have these buttons on computers and laptops called sync. So all you gotta do is go bump, 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 and release, and it's gonna automatically have the track synced up. So now I'm listening to where they're bringing the records in, how people are responding, and that sort of stuff.
So what is Howard Kew doing these days? I know you're working on some stuff. Are you gonna tell us some secrets today, Howard?
Secrets? There ain't no secrets.
All you gotta
do is look
We've
on social media.
We've been watching the pictures on social media.
Yeah, we
Howard.
have 4226 South 3rd Street, Memphis, Tennessee 38109. Will be called Studio 3. Okay. It's a nightclub venue. It's targeted for 30 and up.
It's a nice age range.
Yeah, it is. It's a great age range. And it's one of those things I'm partnering with Thomas Brownlee, a.k.a. BBEMG, a.k.a. Big Brownlee. And the thing is that it's a pretty sizable investment. I think it's like a $3.5 million build out in Westwood. So, I mean, that's what we've been working on for about over a year now, just silently. Now it's about time to get it done. It's one of the few venues in the city that's been designed by a DJ.
You designed the building, Howard?
A lot of the modifications coming from being a transition from being a strip club to a nightclub. Yeah, it's a lot of little details that most people, unless you've been involved with nightlife for a very long time, wouldn't think about. When you come in the door, we have a very, very well laid out entry area and a coat check that you can see. So people don't have to feel insecure about their valuables being in their coats. I mean, the whole coat check is wide open, but it's guarded. Just little stuff like that. DJ booth is flat, has a lot of space. The sound system is going to be second to none. It's going to be concert level. Just stuff like that.
I know you're going to have that sound.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be tight.
When is it opening?
When we're finished. And I'm not being sarcastic either. It's just when we're finished. We're doing, we have an event. We're doing Brownlee's All Black Day Party. We're doing that. We're doing DJ Platinum's Black and Gold event over Thanksgiving. Stuff like that.
Okay. So these events will be at Studio 3.
Right.
Okay.
And it won't be official until the sign goes up. The sign is not going to go up until everything is done. So we're in a position now where we can host events and kind of give people a taste of the club, if you will. But we have a little ways to go before we can just open up and have our grand opening. But it's not going to be a grand opening until it's complete.
We will definitely be hearing more from Howard Kew on how Studio 3 is progressing. And of course, we're going to dig a little bit deeper on part 2 of my session for Verbally Effective Podcast with Howard Kew.
Please hang up and try again.